Hello and welcome to a special edition of SoSouth on Kaveri. Today we are joined with a person who is behind for Karnataka to get highest percentage of water share for the state. And he was also legal advisor for Karnataka and Advocate General of Haryana. And he has resigned his cabinet berth position of legal advisor from Karnataka just to advocate for the Kaveri water share for the state of Karnataka. We are joined with Supreme Court lawyer, Aam Aadmi Party leader, and former legal advisor of Karnataka, Mr. Brijesh Kalappa. Thank you so much for joining with SoSouth India Today, sir.
Thank you so much again.
Sir, you have seen the development today. We have seen there are a couple of meetings of all party meeting, but ultimately there is no outcome. There is no final decision. Every all party meeting they have decided that they will try meet Prime Minister and try to appraise the issue of distress formula, but that formula is not going forward.
See, as you know, the Kaveri Water Disputes Tribunal passed an order in February 2007, the 5th of February 2007, in which the Karnataka government was to release 192 TMC of water on an annual basis to the Tamil Nadu river, to the Tamil Nadu side. And that amount of water has now been reduced thanks to the Supreme Court decision of 2018. In the present day, we have to release 177.25 TMC in a normal year. But supposing there is a deficit. Now you see, from 2018, we have had 5 years of rainfall, and we have seen what pattern is to be followed. In the last 5 years, we have seen that consistently Karnataka has been releasing up to 270, 280 TMC of water on an annual basis, right? So this is far above what we are otherwise supposed to release, that is 177 TMC. Now, are we going to ask an account that, look, we released 270 last year, therefore we cannot release this time? Why we cannot ask that question is very simple. It is for this reason that Tamil Nadu has no storage points to hold the water. Therefore, when we release 260 TMC of water, Tamil Nadu makes use of the amount of water it can and releases the rest to the sea, which is a waste for both the states. Now, keeping this in mind, Karnataka proposed, and not now, this is a 30-year-old proposal, to have a reservoir at the Mekedatu. At Mekedatu, the Karnataka government had a plan that you can hold up to about 67 TMC, maybe more, maybe a little more, which will serve as a carryover for years when there is a shortage. Because in the original, when the water was allocated, of 740 TMC in the river, Kaveri river, it was clear that 2 out of 4 years would be deficit years. So for these deficit years, how do we solve the problem? Without harming the interests of Tamil Nadu and without harming the interests of Karnataka. For this, the only point of storage in the entire basin on a basis of topography is the Mekedatu project, for which Tamil Nadu doesn't agree. Realizing fully that Mekedatu is just besides the border. You see, if we are to get water from Mekedatu, it has to be carried. It has to be lifted, for which an extraordinary amount of energy is consumed. This doesn't strike Tamil Nadu. They say, no, why create another storage? This has been spoken about in the Supreme Court, and they call it a dog in the manger policy, right? If there is I don't want to elaborate on that, but just to tell you, what is a dog in the manger? That supposing there's a dog here, it doesn't allow another dog to come, right? So this is the problem.
You don't allow the other dog to enter your territory.
Exactly. So this is the problem, that unless Tamil Nadu realizes that the Mekedatu is the holistic solution to the Kaveri river, which has been, the controversy has been on for the last 150 years. Unless Tamil Nadu realizes this, I don't think there will be...
So, but Tamil Nadu says that the overflow of water, which can be restricted by Mekedatu, as well as the seepage that they get, that is also more important for Tamil Nadu. And the survival of that will be stopped if Mekedatu is being constructed.
No, Tamil Nadu has some other issues, but in regard to Mekedatu, they have no concrete policy. They they say that no, there are some environmental issues. How are they concerned if the submergence is all in Karnataka state?
Sir, environmental issue is concerned with Karnataka. So they do not have any kind of interest on that. So Tamil Nadu says that because of constructing Mekedatu, you will only release what is being ordered by the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
So whatever the excess of water, excess overflow of water, you will stop it in Mekedatu and you will preserve. They are saying that if you try to do that, we will not get the excess of water, which is important for Tamil Nadu. And they also claim that the seepage water, which is going by the leakage and all the stuff, that is also they will not
that's
get.
Again fallacious for this reason, that if you look at the last 5 years, right? Like I said, 270 TMC, 280 TMC. Sometime I think it has crossed 300 TMC, right? Now, how much can you hold in Mekedatu? You can hold only 67, right? So, supposing there's a 280 TMC, right? We have to give 177 and 67, right? That water is not going to go anywhere. It is going to be held for the next year also. The next year was also a surplus year. Let's assume water was held in 2018, right? So more than excessive water has already gone. So that water was not consumed. So it was held. Apart from evaporation losses, there are no other losses. So in excess of 67 TMC, right, which is not going to be taken by the state of Karnataka. Like I said, in a surplus year, where is the need? Right? So in that, during those years, right, of course we can hold some surplus, which we can release. Supposing there were to be 5,000 cusecs, which was to be released, it could have been released from Mekedatu.
So now Karnataka government is hellbent that they will not release the water. They wanted the Kaveri Water Management Regulatory Board to consider that there is distress and allow them to not to release the water. They have written a letter even to Gajendra Singh Shekhawat yesterday. How do you see this, sir?
See, like I said, when we had the CRA, Cauvery Regulatory Authority, and that was an arrangement in 1991, we used to find that prime ministers used to sit and resolve the issue, because ultimately this is not just a technical issue that we require so much water, we require so much water. I think it's really essentially a political issue. Now the highest political authority in the country is the Prime Minister, right? And ever since the CRA has been done away with, the CWMA has come and the other authority has come, the Prime Minister honestly ought to take some interest and try to resolve this issue like previous Prime Ministers did. For instance, in the Narmada, the Rajasthan state has no role because Rajasthan is not part of the basin of the Narmada. Yet, Mrs. Indira Gandhi decided that Rajasthan will get some water from the Narmada. Similarly, in Chennai, which is outside the Krishna basin, Indira ji said that Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra have to realize 5 TMC each to Chennai. And that is, the states are still fulfilling that direction of Indira ji. So the Prime Minister holds a very prime position in terms of political authority. But if the Prime Minister decides that I'm not going to make use of that political authority.
You mean to say there is a lot of politics involved in this?
No, I'm saying the Prime Minister must intervene.
We have seen in the past like how Manmohan Singh had chaired meeting with Jagdish Shettar and Jayalalitha, and we have seen Karunanidhi and S.M. Krishna during the time of that. So for benefit of our viewers, can you just tell us how many times Karnataka had said that they will not release the water, and how many times it has been a backlash for them and they have to succumb to the pressure of law? So can you just brief us, sir, how many times it was?
No, you see, in the new regime, this is the first time such a situation has arisen. Because ever since the Supreme Court decision, like I told you, when we had to release 205 TMC in 1991, there have been a few instances, right? But after that, in 2007, when it was the releases were lessened, the number of events where Karnataka had to release water came down. Now this is the first event after 2018 when there is a shortage situation, when there is deficit situation, right? Because under the new regime, under the 2018 regime, this is the first time that we have had a shortfall in terms of how much water is being generated in the states.
We have seen the history, sir. S.M. Krishna refused to release the water. Jagdish Shettar refused to release the water. And even H.D. Kumaraswamy refused to release the water. Now it is Siddaramaiah, sir. So legally, how it is going to have an impact on the government, sir, when they approach the Supreme Court?
The Supreme Court has to look at both states equally, right? And it has to examine the shortages equally, right? There was one instance when the Supreme Court sent a team of the CWC to assess what the immediate requirements of Tamil Nadu were, right? And the immediate requirements of Tamil Nadu were in terms of what the affidavit of Karnataka had said and not in terms of what Tamil Nadu had said.
Sir, 15 days back, much before this verdict, this instructions from Kaveri Water Management Board, even that time they said that you have to release 5,000 cusecs for 15 days. At that point of time, Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka and the Irrigation Minister, D.K. Shivkumar, says that there is a legal pressure. They have taken a legal advice and subsequently released the water. And even at that point of time, we had very less storage of water in KRS. How do you see this, sir?
Like I told you, see, having been in the legal team and having seen governments across the board, have been in the legal team even during a BJP regime, even during a JDS regime and during a Congress regime. This is the first time, in fact, I'm outside the legal team. That was because the BJP thought I had taken a very strongly anti-BJP stand. But the Congress has made no attempts to bring me back to the team. But that's another story. The point is that as far as these deficits and surpluses are concerned, the farmers of both sides realize that this is a natural phenomenon, right? So it's not that if today the Siddaramaiah government has to release, or the S.M. Krishna government finally had to release, or Mr. Shettar had to release when he was in BJP and all that. People on both sides realize that this is a natural phenomenon and this will probably occur the next year also, right? So no government, in my experience, earns brownie points by not releasing water. First, I think it's very essential that any government must realize that there is a rule of law in the country. And if there is a rule of law in the country, it's very essential to follow that rule of law. You can't say, look, I'm going to declare my independence, I'm going to become another country. That's not possible, right? If the CWMA has said so, if the Supreme Court has said so, it's incumbent on any government to release that water.
But there is also pressure from the public as well as farmers and the protesters on the streets of Cauvery Delta region. We have seen that, sir.
Many of those protests are actually political in nature, right? The government has the duty to convince the protesters, to speak to them about what the ramifications of not releasing are. Of course, we have seen, like I told you, the protests are not in the nature of what happened in 1991, right? So that kind of protest is over. Also, I can tell you very safely that no political party will thrive by saying, don't release water. No political, because by the next year there will be a surplus and public have forgotten. So keeping this issue alive, saying don't release, taking an intransigent stand is not going to help any political party. And I have seen it from very close.
But what is the way ahead for the Karnataka government?
Karnataka government has to work within the existing system, has to avail the best legal help, right? And it has to, I'm surprised that they have not consulted Mr. Nariman so far. Mr. Nariman is still very much in active practice and he has seen enough of the water dispute. I think the first thing that the Chief Minister must do is to speak to Mr. Nariman, right? Instead of that, I'm told that Sumalata, the Member of Parliament from Mandya, has made a point that the Honorable Minister for Water Resources has not even visited Mandya, despite this, burning issue. These bloopers should be avoided. First, have a holistic legal team, right? People who have, with a confirmed track record. Bring them to the legal team. I'm not saying bring me. If there is anybody else, bring them. If there is somebody better than them, bring them. I have no problem. 1. 2, consider all legal options. 2. 3, keep everybody informed of what you're doing. Right? And don't take anybody by surprise. That on the one hand you say that I'm not going to release water, and in the night you release water. Take everybody into confidence. And if you feel that any political party is trying to take advantage of the situation, right? You can, tell them that, look, as far as the boundaries of Karnataka are concerned, and as far as the waters of Karnataka are concerned, all decisions are taken on an all-party basis. There's no decision which is different, because every single decision so far in Karnataka has been taken after consulting the all-party meeting. So therefore, I think it's very essential to keep everybody informed and then proceed. No, that is something which the Tamil Nadu government must do, and the Karnataka government, wherever they have locations where any amount of water can be held. I'm not saying that you require a huge amount of water to be held, but certain places where certain amount of water can be held must be made use of. In fact, when the Tamil Nadu was making use of reverse osmosis to obtain drinking water for Chennai, we made it a point in the Kaveri Water Disputes Tribunal. And I think it was also argued before the Supreme Court. So now that there is no live tribunal deciding these issues, the states must write to each other and bring these burning issues before the neighboring state, and in a manner in which they will consider this advice.
Do you think that politicians want to keep this issue alive whenever it comes? Nobody want to go in favor of other state, despite knowing that yes, Mekedatu can help Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, despite knowing that if you try to construct a dam and try to preserve the water which is flowing to the sea. Do you think there is a politics which is not allowing them, or they are reluctant to do that on the same?
I think I mentioned earlier that Tamil Nadu gets 15 TMC of water from the Krishna Basin, while it does not fall within the Krishna Basin. Similarly, Rajasthan gets water from Narmada despite not falling within the basin. Now, who was responsible for this decision? Right? So, if two states are finding it difficult because of their constituents to speak to each other, there must be one force above which says, no, sit, talk to each other. Right? And that force is only the Prime Minister of India. There is no such power vested in any authority in the country, right? So it's only the Prime Minister of India which has that kind of, political authority to do that. Unfortunately, Mr. Modi does not want to exercise that political authority.
How often that has been done, sir?
Like I told you, I've given you 3 instances.
Manmohan Singh, Indira Gandhi.
Yeah.
And you mean to say that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has not even chaired a meeting?
No, he's only held one meeting in which the BJP members, because they had the maximum number of MPs, were totally quiet. Nobody spoke. See, unless an MP has the courage to go and speak to the Prime Minister and tell him, Prime Minister, look, these are my problems in my state, right? But they all become BJP MPs there. They don't become MPs of the constituency. This is the problem. Because then they start thinking, will I get the ticket next? Well, what if Mr. Modi thinks like this? So, I think there has to be there has to be more greater democracy within the BJP. 2, that these MPs must also realize that, look, if I don't raise these issues concerning my constituents are going to treat me badly. They are the ones who are going to vote me out. So that fear must be there.
So now the government says that they are hell-bent that they will not release the water, sir. how it will be, how it is going to have an impact on the state with the Kaveri regulatory body as well as in the Supreme Court?
No, there have been some intermittent rains now. So what impact it has had, how much inflows into the river is there, right? Because it's not the same situation that existed 20 days ago. When the CWMA asked that certain amount of water, that is 5,000 cusecs, should be released, that was at a time when Karnataka thought that the river rainfall had completely come to an end. But over the last, I think, 1 week or 10 days, there has been some precipitation. Precipitation in Kerala. Some of it flows to the Kaveri, some of that also comes to the KRS and from Kodagu. So therefore, the impact of that rainfall has to also be seen. And I'm sure
do you think a delegation should be sent to Kaveri Delta region and to do a study and submit a report?
No,
that has been done
in extreme deficit it's done, but I think deficit is only to the extent of 40 TMC, 48%.
TMCs of water.
Yeah.
And they required around 106 TMCs of water.
No, but we still have about 15-20 days of rainfall. So I don't know what the IMD says. That has to also be taken into account. One. Two, also the fact that Tamil Nadu is likely to get some help from the northeast rainfall, because Karnataka doesn't get help from northeast. We only get southwest, right? The monsoon is exclusively southwest. But since Tamil Nadu gets some rainfall from the northeast, I think to that extent
they get in the month of December.
Yeah. So therefore, I think it's essential for the CWMA or the Supreme Court, whichever the authority to be, to consider these things and then give a proper decision in this regard. One. Two, for the state of Karnataka to put its best foot forward, to have the best people representing the state, right? And not just go by, few people. Consult everybody, take everybody along, and then put a very strong defense.
So now talking about the politics, opposition say that yes, you should not release the water even if you have a pressure. HD Kumar Swamy has said that when they released 5,000 cusecs 15 days back, even now he says that Karnataka government has not handled properly and they are still releasing the water despite there is a deficit. Even Basuraj Bommai also says this, sir. Being in opposition, these kind of politics played with the Kaveri, sir.
Of course, and like I told you, the Congress would have done similarly if they were in opposition, right? And my party is also doing similarly. Since we are out of government, my party has also gone and said they don't release water. So that's okay. That's part of the game. It's part of the game. It will go on. But ultimately, I think as far as the government is concerned, they have a solemn duty to the Supreme Court. They have a solemn duty to the people of, the country, that they have to follow the diktats of the Supreme Court. And if they don't, then obviously contempt will follow. All kinds of problems come to light. So therefore, I think the first thing is follow the rule of law, right? And within the means, try to convince the authorities that, look, you could have done this rather than that.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So this is Mr. Brijesh Kalappa and his insights on Kaveri. Thank you for watching a special edition on SoSouth.